All right, let's talk about money. Not the fun part, not the making it. the other side of it, spending it. So let's explore something about this, and it's important. Okay, you've probably heard the old saying. It's very old, much older than me, and I'm old. It takes money to make money. Okay, that's very true. In many instances, that's very accurate. And of course, what we're talking about here is starting a new business. And I'm not talking to those of you that may be interested in voiceover as a hobby only. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. But when you're ready to get down to business and make a business for yourself out of this, well, that's a different story, because you have to treat this as a business. And just like any other business, most of the time there's going to be some upfront capital outlay or investment in your business. And for many of us, it's not just a matter of reaching into your savings account and pulling out a big wad of cash and saying, okay, here we go. Here's my investment. A lot of times that's just not possible. It's not available. The cash isn't there. So what do you do in those situations? Well, there are things that you can do. It's not easy, and this is another reason why I'm going to have to kind of bounce back to something I've talked about a lot before, and that is how strong is your motivation to be in voiceover? Because it takes a lot of upfront outlay, not only in money, but also in energy and study time, and there's a lot of upfront sort of cost, if you will, to getting into this and really making a good go of it. So the question is your passion strong enough to stick with the time and also be willing to do what you need to do to earn that money for the expenses that are going to come up when starting out this voiceover business? Because they will. Things cost money. Things like, for instance, coaching. That costs money. People who are good coaches, they cost money. And, depending upon who you are wanting to learn from, that can be kind of expensive, especially depending upon who you are studying with. Is that not fair? No, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's totally fair, because you're investing, you are asking somebody with the expertise to spend time with you and share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can be sent on the right direction. That's the thing about coaching. It's a giant leap forward by learning from people who have been before you. So good coaches are totally worth the money, and you're going to need some money for that. What else are you going to need money for? The recording gear, the recording space, not just the microphone and the audio interface, and a good quiet computer if you don't have one already, really quiet. But also a space to record in. Just any room won't do. It's going to have to be a quiet room, or at least quiet most of the time, that you then have to treat acoustically to get rid of all the room reflections, echoes, reverb, whatever you want to call it, and get it ready for pro audio results. Okay? Other things you have to spend money on. Let's see. I talked about the coaching, the gear, the things like, website creation, other promotional materials, depending upon what route you want to choose to look for work, whether it's a pay-to-play casting website, that can cost $450, $500 a year to be part of that. So there's another capital outlay. What other things? Fictitious business names, bank accounts, a lot of this stuff may not cost anything right away, but it'll add up, So what's a good amount to plan on? I always think about $5,000 to pay for the gear, and you don't need super high-end gear. You don't need $1,000 microphone. Start small, start reasonable. But $5,000 for coaching and gear and, everything else that goes into this is probably a good target. Okay. So how do you get that money if you don't have it sitting in your bank account and you don't have the type of job, day job or, actual job, your current job doesn't pay you enough to save that money easily? Okay, what do you do? All right, there are a number of things that you can do. A lot of people that I have talked to have used these scenarios, these strategies to help earn the money, to save the money, to then spend it. Now, again, this is going to take some time, because $5,000 isn't something that is probably going to come to you really quickly. Don't start dealing drugs, okay? Do legal stuff, please, okay? Otherwise, you may never get into voiceover. Okay, let's talk about creating a budget plan. And I've kind of already discussed that. How much do you need as your investment, your initial investment into your business, okay? And how are you going to find that? Make categories. Research. I talk about that all the time. Look through catalogs, online catalogs like well, I've got a video about recording gear and voiceover room treatment. I've got a few videos like that. So look through my catalog. Check out check out the online resources like Sweetwater.com, Guitar Center, other retailers for generally musical instruments, but they also sell pro audio gear. Check out Reverb.com. They sell both new and used. The others do too, but to a lesser degree. So Reverb.com, I talk about that in some other videos too. Create a budget for yourself. Same goes for the coaching. Decide who you want to coach with. I humbly offer my services. Sorry. Okay, back to the show. And all those other things that you're going to need to start your business. Okay. Now, start figuring out how you're going to get there. Here are some ideas. Okay, number one, look through all your stuff and find some of your unused items that you can sell. You probably, what am I trying to say here? What do you have around the house that you can get rid of easily and you won't miss? Are there some tools, clothes, other things that you can sell online? You can put it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or there are other items, OfferUp. Make some money that way. It's kind of a nice way. It's nice to be able to purge some of that stuff you've been wanting to get rid of forever, but never had the incentive to do it, to then go ahead and then put that into a saving account. Save that for your voiceover career. That's your business startup funds, okay? Your business startup. Look into, Google local or even not local resources for small business grants. There are nonprofit organizations that help people start their businesses for either a 0% or low interest rate loan. That can be a great way to get started. When I started my first business, I took out a loan from a credit union. It was not great terms, I'll tell you that. I think I paid 11% interest or something like that. But I was able to pay it off. It took a few years, but yeah. Ask your friends and family. Come to them. It's not easy, but you can go to them, saying, hey, I have this vision for my next profession, and I need some upfront capital to invest into this business. And, offer return on their investment, 5%, something like that. It could work. It's happened. Local arts funding councils. They may also be a place to go for some upfront capital. It can't hurt to ask. Use your search engine. Find places where you can find funding for the arts, because voiceover, it's a performing art. You've heard a lot of people talk about themselves as a voiceover artist or a voice artist. I don't. I prefer actor. But it's widely in the arts. So check into that. That's a potential. Here are some other things that might hurt a little bit. Cut unnecessary subscriptions, like streaming services. Maybe you've got a whole bunch of them, and some you don't really even watch much anymore. I know there are a couple on our Roku that we don't watch anymore that we probably should cut and fund something else. So, think about that. Think about some of your expenses that you really shouldn't be spending anyway, that would be better put compiling into that business saving account. How about coffee? I know some people that don't make coffee at home. They go out every day and buy their coffee at, Starbucks or wherever. That adds up. It's much less expensive to brew it at home. And they don't have the blended drinks and all that. Well, come on. You got to make sacrifices somewhere. Here's something along the same lines. Eat out less often. That adds up. That's expensive. And frankly, it's not that healthy either. I mean, it tastes great a lot of the time, but my wife and I, we rarely go out to eat. For better or for worse, I like to cook, and I'm pretty good. So we save a lot of money by eating in at home, and we eat well. We eat much more healthfully than we would if we ate out more than we do. Okay, so there's that. Here's another idea. Have you considered crowdfunding? Use something like GoFundMe. Set up an account there and create a nicely written proposal or plan of action for yourself, and explain your passion for this business. Explain your passion for voice acting, and that you want to get into it, and here's why you think you'd be good for it, and these are the things you need to spend this money on, and set yourself a reasonable goal to reach through that crowdfunding program. That way your reach will be much greater, and then hopefully some of your friends and family will send it out to their contacts as well. So maybe you'll get some input, some donations from people that you don't know. Or some of those people who are sort of outliers to your immediate friends and family circle that go, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, let me chip in $5." That can add up. So give that a consideration. Here's another thing that you can do. Again, not easy, but take on another job. Take on another part-time job somewhere. Put in a few hours a week somewhere else, like during the weekend or whatever your current off days are. Make a little extra money and save it. These are the things you have to do when you don't have the resources hanging out in your bank account right now. You've got to work for it. You've got to wait a little bit for that pile of money to save up. And when you start making some, well, you can start investing a little bit here and there. Maybe buy a microphone. Maybe buy a set of coaching. Usually coaches will have like a package deal. You can spend this much on one coaching session, but it'll be less if you buy this many coaching sessions. You can save some money that way. So consider doing that too. You don't have to have the $5,000 or whatever it is you decide to save for. You don't have to have all of that right now. You can, you earn a few $100, you earn $1,000 or maybe a couple $1,000. Yeah, start spending it frugally. And then you keep earning and you keep putting that back into that saving account. By the time you save all that money, well, then there you go. You've got your initial business investment and you can open that business of yours. That's exciting. And I'll tell you what, there is something to be said for earning it. When you put the investment in of your time, your blood, sweat, and tears and money, it's important. And so you want to treat it like it's important and give it all you've got. Because I'll tell you something, this business really takes a lot of that kind of fortitude. It really, it's not easy. You've heard me say that before. It's not easy. So if you don't have the passion for it, to at least earn the money to for that initial financial outlay, you will probably give up faster once you run into the difficulties of staying with it. Okay, I don't mean to be a downer. I'm just, talking about some realities. And I'll tell you, when you turn it around and you make that money back and you pay off those loans or you pay back those friends or however you got that money, that initial investment money to begin with, when you pay that off, when you've paid yourself back, whatever it is, man, that feels good. And you did it on your own, and you did it through your hard work, and you did it by earning those clients. That feels fantastic. That's why I've loved being in business for myself for, God, how long has it been? 20 or 30 years? Something like that? And the time flies. Anyway, a couple more things I just wanted to mention. I have a free Voiceover career basics guide that you can find as a digital download. It's in the description below. Check that out if you would like. Also, I have a live stream coming up. I do it every Tuesday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please join me. I always have something to talk about, but if you do join me, please feel free to ask questions. Let me know what difficulties you're having. Let me know what wins you are having. I want to hear it all. Okay? So anyway, thanks for joining me, and save your pennies. Although I guess they're going to phase out the penny. Well, save your nickels, and spend your money wisely. Okay? There's nothing wrong with frugality. A lot of people equate frugality with being cheap. No, it's not that. It's just spending your money wisely, not being afraid to spend the money where it needs to be spent, but you're just not going to be, throwing it out there for the wolves. Is that what I wanted to say? I don't think so. Anyway, I better stop. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. I'm Jan Anderson, by the way. Take care.